We got a lot of viewer requests on this one. We're going to take one of the most purchased welding hoods in America and we're going to turn it from a zero and turn it into a hero. This hood right here is the OG fiber metal, sugar scoop, pipeliner, whatever you want to call it. This is a super popular hood, but there are a lot of things that I'm going to change to it. And we're going to talk about the whys. We're going to do all that as we go about doing this video. What I really wanted to kind of explain before jumping into it is the cost of all this. It is a little bit of a labor of love. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to plug Outlaw Leather at all, but if I'm looking at the website here, the hood that we're going to build is close to $135. And then you got these slimline hoods with leather on top and bottom for like $195. Now, mind you, they don't come with a welding lens, so you can tack on another $50 to $100 depending on what type of lens that you throw in there. Keep that in mind when you go about this, but if I had to put a cost on everything that I had to get today, the welding hood itself, $77.94, and then we have our flip front adapters, and then we're going to have to throw a lens in that thing. So I've got this Arc 1 single, this is a shade 10, and then we have our replacement headgear. It has better ratchets, it's going to come with some aluminum fasteners, something that you almost have to do to this hood. Then you got a little bit of leather that we're going to throw on there. And we're not even including having to need a drill bits, a little bit of liquid cement, some rivets, some other tools to putting this all together. We're looking at about $285 total for the hood that we're going to build today, which is going to be cheaper somewhere else. But there's some kind of je ne sais quoi, doing something on your own, saying, no, I built this. This isn't nobody but my own, and it's full custom. The first thing you're going to have to do is lay out the lines that need to be cut. And we don't need this headgear in our way. It's janky anyway. It's all pretty much going in the trash. That little elastic strap never holds up. And not to mention the hood nuts that go on it. You give them one good tight and you'll just hear them pop. You'll never be able to tighten again. Now, as far as where you draw your lines, I used about 3/4 of an inch from where this hood nut is, because it's kind of the only reference I have. Measured 3/4 of an inch up, and that's where I made my mark on both sides. And then I'll just go ahead and take something flexible. What I have is a pipe wrap, finagle it into position, just make sure it's even as possible before I mark a line, because I don't want anything to be all cattywampus, because the last thing you want to do is have a crooked head right up there at the top. Once we get the top line on, we can do the bottom line, kind of the same principle. I'm going to use this hole where the hood nut is. I'm going to measure 4 inches, 3.5 down, or even just take another hood and just kind of put it side by side so I know just about where that ends up going when it comes to trimming the bottom of that off. The easy layout mark to do is for the lens box. We're going to have to delete this lens box in order to put in one of these Cellstrom attachments. And all you're really going to do is just put a mark around the box. We can always take off more, but we can't ever put it back. But that's pretty much all the layout that you need to do. Now we got to do kind of the scariest part of the operation and take a cutoff wheel and start chopping away at this hood. I've always found that a 4-inch grinder is a little bit easier than a 4.5, especially for the lens box when you get in there, not to overcut anything. So try to find something smaller as a cutoff wheel. That's going to be your best bet. Also put some gloves on and some safety glasses, because it throws this fiberglass as you cut into it and it comes off pretty hot and sticky. I want to make it very clear that whenever you cut into a hood, there are some companies that are going to tell you that you're not allowed to have any customer modified hoods, because that's not what they're rated for. You need to get something with the safety rating like this Outlaw Leather hood that has everything built in. Even though it looks chopped, it's not. It's molded. That's a one-piece thing. No modifications have been done to it. So you got to take into consideration that before you start chopping anything. Now, I would say the main reason why a welder would go about cutting down a hood and chopping it is weight reduction or getting your head in a tighter spot. There are some drawbacks to it, like if we chop the top of this, we're going to have to add something as far as leather, because that's when sunlight comes in through the top and it makes a glare on the back of your lens and it makes it really hard to see. Now, why a welder would want to go ahead and chop the complete bottom off and replace it with leathers or just do a little bit of trimming is because whenever you got your hood down and you're trying to look down, it has so much hood there that you can't really look down very well, which is kind of annoying. Not to mention probably the worst part is where you have it on your head and you give it a good hood flip and that sucker comes down and karate chops you like a baby kangaroo and you're just like, oh. That's why I would always consider trimming the bottom or just getting it cut removed completely. But you're going to, again, have to replace it with something because those UV rays are going to get you. And the same thing for this flip-up lens attachment. Got to cut the lens box out. It's very nerve-wracking. You feel like you're just absolutely ruining this hood, but that's what it takes to get this thing fitted on. And it's much nicer to have something that's flip-up to where you can see what you're doing when you're trying to grind instead of not seeing anything at all through a passive lens or your auto dark is sitting there flickering on you. The hardest part about putting this little flip-up attachment on there is it's a two-piece and it kind of sandwiches the hood between them. So you're going to need to make notches on both sides so that you can get that little bracket piece where the screws come in to fit through there. So again, you can always take off more, but you can't put it back on. We're going to check as we go. We're going to try to fit it in, and I'm going to realize I need to make my window a little bit bigger in all directions, and I need to make those notches a little bit longer. And you know, it's going to be pretty rough when you're just using nothing but a cutoff wheel, so I really recommend doing something as far as cleaning up those rough cuts. You could throw a flap disc on there with a little bit of sanding or Scotch-Brite sandpaper, get those edges a lot cleaner, and just touch everything up. You know, we're going to try to do our best to make it look really even. Now before I go ahead and put the box in, we're going to go ahead and start laying this out for cutting the leather. I'll be honest, I've chopped a few hoods myself, but I've never really put any leather on them, so this was going to be a first for me. All I did was lay the leather out, try to keep it as flat as possible, and then I just took the welding hood and laid it upside down about where I wanted it. Traced the welding hood all the way around, front and back, you know, it just leaves a little bit of a line. And then I put a straight edge, a square on the side, and marked a straight line all the way across. I'm really just trying to mimic that little horseshoe shape that's on there. I was really having a hard time with that because all these different hoods have kind of a different shape and a different horseshoe to them, whether it was less or more square or round. So I just kind of winged it. Again, following that motto, you can always take off a little bit more as we go. We'll do some trimming down the road. So I went ahead and laid the back part out, and then I measured 1 inch forward on the front side. The leather is going to have to wrap around the front, so I used about 1 inch in order to do so. It really seemed to be fairly straightforward at the time, and then I just went ahead and cut things out. The scissors weren't going to cut it. I needed something more like some metal shears in order to get the leather cut really cleanly. And the leather was pretty much handled. Gluing and riveting it on, that was a big challenge for me. I did think I was doing myself a favor by pre-drilling the holes where I thought the rivets would go. But this ended up being a little contradictive later on, and I'll explain that later. But I did need to start right in the middle. I put one hole right in the center and then measured out that way. When I started from the side and went across, they didn't all land in the same place. Now moving on to the actual gluing process, I made an absolute mess out of things. I got a newfound respect for all the fools putting leather on welding hoods, because it's not simple. They got it down to a science. I tried first with contact cement, because I've been told that you want to kind of get everything glued together first before you go about putting rivets on there. What I did not realize was for these fiber metal sugar scoops, they have this coating on them. It's a piece of some paint or whatever it may be. And this contact cement just ate away at that stuff, and it made nothing want to stick because it was sticking to the stuff that was coming off. So that was a huge problem. And again, having to fold this leather up and around a rounded surface, I had just the absolute darndest time keeping it from wrinkling and getting a fold in it or staying straight. And oh my gosh. So I ended up taking the leather completely off and just go ahead and sanding about 1 inch back from the top, making sure there was no paint on the top of it anymore. And maybe you used a little bit of acetone, some sandpaper, anything you can do to get that a little bit of coating off. We went ahead and laid it back down and started the process all over again, putting a bunch of contact cement on there, trying to fold this leather up, trying to fight it, to hold it. It didn't matter a number of clamps I decided was enough. It still had a wrinkle or two somewhere. I got to a point where I got like half of it kind of clamped in a spot, and I was like, let's just put some rivet in. Now, to the contradictory of pre-drilling the holes, I glued those holes shut with the contact cement, so I don't even know if that step was necessary. So I went ahead and just started drilling holes, still putting the spacing about 2 inches apart to start with. Starting right in the middle, put a rivet. Moved over, put a rivet. If you got any advice for pulling and stretching leather and getting it smooth like these guys that I bought the hoods for, let me know, because I'm sure some people would like to know, because I got halfway through. I was really disappointed, but we just keep going with it, keep going, keep riveting, and I thought, you know what? Why not some more rivets? Just keep riveting. That little hand riveter that I had, really handy to have, but it is an absolute forearm workout to get all those rivets on there. All said and done, I'm not super proud of myself, but it is super done. It is on there. That leather is glued. It's not as clean as the other guys, but what can I say? I'm sure all my welding hood maker friends are probably getting a good chuckle out of this so far. And I did try to clean things up as far as the leather goes. We did do a little bit more trimming to radius off the leather on the top, clean it up some, and then I tried to get a razor blade to straighten up that front edge all the way across. And again, I just trying to do my best here. Now, a piece of equipment we really didn't cover as far as headgear goes is this one right here. This is your attachment for your hard hat. You might not be running any standard headgear. You might need one of these, and I call these a halo. This one in particular is from PIP Safety. If you go on Pip Global's website, you'll find a whole slew of different PPE products. Now, the one that I wear pretty much all the time is going to be these Cayman gloves. These are the 1600s, and I wear these for pretty much everything welding-wise goes. But if it does get a little bit thicker, a little heavier duty, I go to like a 1540. It's got a couple little bit more pads, a little thicker stuff. Then your other dailies are these right here. These are the 1306s. I can't recommend those gloves enough. Not even to mention they are the ones responsible for the fiber metal hood and this tiger hood here. So you can find those on there. Now they're coming out with a bunch of different safety shades, different glasses. These ones here got side shields and cutting glasses for plasma or oxy fuel. Like, dude, PIP, they got the whole industry covered. Shout out to them for today's video sponsor. Now we can add the lens box on that the leather is done. Should be an easy fit because we've already had everything cut out and we've already seen that it fits. So you just kind of have to press and work everything in there. Then you can go about putting it on the front side, getting the holes lined up, and it's just 2 screws. You just make sure they're nice and tight. Don't over tighten them, but definitely get them as snug as you can by hand. Now, ironically enough, these lens boxes add a lot of weight. You know, compared to this carbon fiber, you can see it's much bigger and much bulkier. It's really nice having a flip up lens on any welding hood. You even have pancakes with flip up welding lenses. It doesn't matter what type of lens you put in it. You can't grind with it in front of you. As soon as you hit that grinder, those sparks are going to make your auto dark flicker or darken. And obviously if you got a passive shade, you're not going to be able to see crap out of it anyway. The big thing that I realize a lot of people don't realize is when they get these, and there's other brands of these flip up deals, is this little lens retainer where you slide all your lenses, your clear lenses in your auto dark. They're not always made to fit a thicker lens, or even whatever lens that you have. It just doesn't seem to fit. I've seen people just give up and be like, I got the wrong one, or this is dumb, it doesn't work. Make that sucker work. What do you got to do? Just get a little file, saw blade, something to just trim, spend a little time. It's a little tedious and a little bit lame that you have to do it, and then you'll get everything to fit just fine. The other thing that I think a lot of people don't realize when it comes to these flip-up lenses is you need a clear lens here, you need a clear lens here, and you need a clear lens on the back. So that's 3 clear lenses compared to like this hood, just because when you got your lens flipped up like this and you get to grinding on it, you have that one protecting you. But if you don't have anything protecting the backside here, those grinding sparks are going to adhere to whatever lens you got back there, and then you're going to have literal grinding sparks embedded into your welding lens. And I've seen it ruin people's welding lenses. Make sure that you realize that you can modify this box to fit your lens, and make sure you have 3 clear lenses in so you can protect your lens and your eyeballs. Now, I think a lot of people take for granted the headgear on a welding hood, and they're more worried about the shell, how it looks, and, you know, the lens. I think that's all really important, but that headgear is what's being held on your head all freaking day. Now, the headgear that I put on this hood, it's not fancy. It's pretty simple, but it's still going to end up being really comfortable when we're done. Since we got that old one out, you'll see that little knob on the side of the hood. You want to line up this little clip in one of those little slots. What that's meant to do is to stop the hood from going up or down anymore whenever you don't want it to, right? Now, some of the other bits and washers don't always fit depending on what you're swapping that headgear out to be, but you can at least take this aluminum fastener, push it through, and you'll see that it's a square shape, just like the hole on the hood. Make sure that all lines up, and then you should be able to put it on a washer or one of these little metal clips, and that's going to keep everything to have some tension. If you don't put a washer on it and you just put the bolt through and then the nut on, it's not ever going to end up getting tight enough. So keep that in mind. These aluminum ones are where it's at, man. There's some bulkier plastic ones that work really good, but these aluminum ones are like tried and true. They're going to last forever, and they look pretty sharp. Personally, I feel like you should attempt to get some aftermarket headbands. The ones that come on almost every headgear, I think they're absolute garbage. They just get really nasty whenever you really get to working in these sweatbands. So I like to buy some aftermarket ones like these welder-made ones. And they've been around for a while, and I've got them on almost all of my welding hoods. I've got a set of them on there. Man, once you put them on, you got it on the front and the back at least, it feels like a dream, man. You won't even realize you're wearing your welding hood all day because of just how comfortable now that you've made your headgear. Some people might be like, yeah, you just got those to look a little cooler. It might be a little bit bougie, but I'm telling you, these headbands are going to last 10 times longer than the ones that come with them. And yeah, they look way cooler too. And don't worry, I did put an old set of headbands on this hood, but I've got another set coming that I'm going to put on some fresh ones. Because, hey, that's a big pet peeve of mine. I don't want to wear anyone else's hood because I don't want to feel that nasty old sweatband. And it's... ugh. One big thing that I want to point out with pretty much all of these welding hoods, maybe not like this one here. This is my Lincoln Viking 3350. I want you to notice that when I flip it down, that sucker covers... it covers everything. These hoods never seem to catch it, right? If I put this one on, and flip it down. You got this little bit of neck showing. If you've ever been arc burned right there on the little red triangle of death, if you know, you know. You got to keep yourself covered. So when I'm rocking any one of these chopped hoods, I wear a bandana a lot with my welding shirt, not to cover up my face or nothing, but more to keep that neck from getting burnt up. And that's another reason why welders will opt to have that leather on the bottom. Not only does it take a lot of the weight away, but it fixes that problem, keeps your neck covered, and that's pretty crucial. Oh, that one's like one of the worst burns I've ever had, just sitting right there on the throat. Since I already kind of messed up and made a mess of the gluing and removing the paint, I figured I'd give the hood the nice distressed look. You know, a little slap and tickle with the flap disc, you know, run it around in some dirt, hold it underneath some 60-10, put some sparks on it, and blast it in the face with the grinder. Now you won't stick out like a sore thumb on a job site. You'll look like you've been there before. Now I'll admit, that wasn't the best demo, I think, on how to customize a hood. Between the cost of what it took me to go on Amazon and find everything and the amount of work that it took, I think I would rather buy one like from Outlaw Leather because it has that safety rating. The leather comes with a lifetime warranty, and you know, you can see the difference on the lens box on the Slimline. All that to say, we still should be able to try to figure out how to do it ourselves if we wanted to, because it's a free country. Now, if you want to take this hood off my hands, I left the link down in the description below. We want you to hop into the Weld app over there, get to scrolling, or find me, Austin Hargett, in there. Find the post about this hood, leave a comment saying hood, and I'm going to pick one of those lucky winners to ship this hood to. I promise I'm going to put some new headbands on it for you. Until next time, guys, now go weld something.